Liberals are what? Nothing but pet-killing scoundrels? They can't look after pets? It was a violent, basically free protest against insanity. Lunatic Trudeau. And now he's going after the pets? I'm more ashamed of our politicians. I can separate it now. I'm ashamed of our politicians and the people that have gone along with the narrative. You think it's okay to go and euthanize pets, to threaten to kill people's pets? What next? Their babies?
Truckers who are just trying to do their jobs, for God's sakes. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's, I mean, it's crazy. I know that the dog thing we're supposed to talk about later, but I can't get over the pets. Yeah. That they're actually threatening owners of animals. That if you, in fact, a government that will kill your dog for simply disobeying their orders is basically...
Do you know someone that does a murder or stabbing in Vancouver and has a pet? Their pet's looked after better. These are not fucking criminals. A drug dealer that has to go to jail for, like, what do they go to jail for now? You know, selling heroin. 2 weeks? Their pets are looked after better. I'm really pissed off. This lady's about to cry. She's a little bit of a snowflake. I'm mad.
One of the tweets that we had lined up that basically states that if you are unable to care for your pet, we will take your pet away at your expense for a week. And if you don't come back and claim it, they're going to basically kill your dog.
It's incredible that the autocracy is extending to the animals. You have the details on that, Emily.
Yeah, it's government-sanctioned euthanasia, essentially, is what we're listening to. So take a look at what the government put out.
I find people all over town, not this neighborhood, okay? Because this neighborhood, the people on drugs have a little more cognitive ability than the mainstream people. But they were okay with the government going in and euthanizing senior citizens. I've got to work on my words to shock them awake. But I'm pretty good at doing that.
Disgusting, callous, frankly evil policy, especially in conjunction with the image Ottawa used of that little puppy. This is a true...
Look at that. I don't know if I can get that. Our government will kill your dog.
Nauseating display, and frankly it conveys the heartless disregard for their community, right? Their citizens. So obviously uproar has rightly ensued, with many notables weighing in. For example, Congressman Jeremy Faison tweeting out that a government that will kill your dog for simply disobeying their orders on a public demonstration will eventually have no issue killing you for the same. Trudeau is a fool and a tyrant. Former Senator...
I just said that. Sorry. Hate to say that, but I said that. That this is leading up to more. So, I'm going to go tenting in an abandoned building with Daisy. Because I can't find anybody I want to take with. Unfortunately, they either have gone right into Main Street, believing the narrative, and brain damage themselves, and help with media, that I'm unable to talk to a lot of people. I resent a lot of people that are not on drugs down here, that work down here and couldn't stand up. I resent them. I can't even give my contact because I resent them so much. This is making me angry. You know, it's not even 6.
Orrin Hatch weighing in also, he said, "We are taking away your puppies is a great way to show you that we no longer worry about the optics of this crackdown." He's exactly right. Even El Salvador's president, you guys, calling for more international condemnation, and also tweeting, what would happen if a Latin American government did this to its political opposition, right? There'd probably be a different and even more pronounced uproar. And then just an average Canadian summing it up, in my opinion. He tweeted, "This is an unusual form of cruelty. How will your relationship with your community survive this? Really? You know these are working class people. How do you ever expect them to trust you again, Justin Trudeau? Have you thought that far ahead? Does it even matter to you?" And I predict the answer is that relationship will not survive this. And by the time it matters to the government, it will be too late.
And those are eye-opening tweets. Very powerful, Emily. You're exactly right. Jimmy, very few journalists...
I'm seeing this for the first time with you guys. And this is very upsetting. And I can understand these girls look a little snowflakey and they look like they're on the verge of crying. You know, and if it was my puppy, yeah, I would cry. Now I'm thinking, well, maybe me and Daisy don't want to go to Camp Canada because they may separate us, and that'll be hard on both of us. You know, if they can kill puppies, who next? Your baby? Your children? Oh, and Canada does a really bad job with kids in foster care. They destroy 90% of them, and a lot of them end up down here.
Have taken the time to actually go talk to the truckers. We know elitist Trudeau won't actually go talk to them, but Michelle Goldberg of the New York Times did. Here's something she found. There were plenty of people on the streets who seemed genuinely baffled by the media's description of them as part of a far-right movement. They've been infuriated and in some cases unmoored by Canada's pandemic restrictions, which have been stricter than America's. Here's where you come in, Jimmy. As the National Post reported, during the Omicron wave, the provinces of Quebec and Ontario closed schools and imposed blanket bans on indoor dining, gyms, and bars, and Quebec enacted a
That's pretty upsetting. As you can look at any of my videos, it's been party time 24 hours. I mean, it doesn't make sense. If you live down in my neighborhood, okay, and then at the beginning I go to another neighborhood, the fear on people was unbelievable. They had instantly brain damaged themselves with the fear porn and doing no research. Me, I didn't brain damage myself. I did research and found out that my leaders and the news people were brain damaging my fellow Canadians.
10 p.m. curfew. Jimmy, I just think you couldn't last with the 10 p.m. curfew.
Listen, the person I empathize the
They did slaughter a lot of people down here, downtown East End, Vancouver. We weren't allowed to even have one guest over for the longest period. Now I don't want anybody over. You know, I've been alone for so long. I don't even want to invite people over. I'll invite someone over if they're in really rough shape and they need to be pulled off the street and fed and showered and, you know, have their clothes done and just, you know, a little safe space to get it together, you know, to say, hey, you're not alone on the street. That's it. I don't invite anybody over. After not being able to have guests, you know, fighting for the right to have guests, I don't even want anyone over anymore. But very, very upsetting to kill the puppies.
both with in this story is actually the gelato store owner, because I look like a guy who gets paid in gelato. Let's be honest. But here's the thing, and I want to make a good point about these truckers, because I talk to non-stop truckers on the phone on my nationally syndicated radio show, which you can listen to Monday through Friday on 100 stations. Hey, girl. I have talked to so many truckers. I actually have to stop talking to truckers because I'm starting to say the word a boot. You understand? I've adopted their accent, but I want to echo that earlier point that this is not a conservative moment. This is a freedom moment. These are just objective observers who've seen flimsy science used as a justification to trample freedom. And they're not
Look at these fuckers. They don't even show their face, these cops.
necessarily anti-vax, but they're very anti-autocracy. And that
I wasn't anti-vax before this whole shit show, but I am now. Except for towards my dog. But I wasn't. I was, not for me, thank you. But now, I don't ever fucking want a nurse to mention the word vaccination. I'm pretty sure my eyes would just dart, lightning bolts out. I know my eyes do that because I can watch people's frickin' eyes almost pop out when I get angry.
That's what's going on here. But the one thing I want to say really quick is, as a former New York City cab driver, I normally am conditioned and calibrated to hate anyone who causes traffic. Like when you sit all day in a cab, you'll get mad at a guy for getting hit by a bus. You'll be like, how dare you? It took me 20 minutes to merge. You should have looked both ways. But I have so much empathy for these truckers. Why? Because the longer they stay, the more it exposes just how shallow the entire left-wing playbook is, okay?
Yes.
Decrying them as every word salad term you can think of, none of which is supported by fact. Trudeau has lost the empathy on his side.
Well, you just used the curse word, the word that we're not allowed to say, and that is freedom. We're told by Canadian media that freedom's a far-right term. Trudeau says it's malleable. It's not. And then, of course, CNN says whatever that means. Well, here's a reminder, Dagan, from a president who I know, who I don't know, but I love very much. Here's a reminder. Let's listen.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
A sober reminder, Dagan.
I think we all believe that the United States has shared values with Canada until this. And it's a reminder that how important it is to preserve and protect the freedoms and rights that we have here in the United States. Even if you're against the truckers, even if you don't believe in them, to Jimmy's point, causing traffic, what have you, anyone who has read history should be very afraid when the government exercises extraordinary powers against a certain group of people, because next it will be you. It will be the group that you belong to. And particularly when it's a wannabe.
Unbelievable.